Morning, everyone. I'd like to call this Municipal Planning Commission meeting to order. The Municipal Planning Commission is conducting this meeting in person and via conference call in accordance with Municipal Government Act, Section 199. Council chambers is now open for public attendance in person. However, members may still join meetings remotely using our current teleconference process. As per Wheatland County Policy 7.13, members of the public are not permitted to speak unless the commission agrees to hear from them. If the commission agrees to allow the public to speak, the chair will call upon specific individuals at that time. Please note, this call is being recorded and will be uploaded to our website and or social media. For any individuals using the conference call line, we ask that you mute your phone to eliminate background noise. Everyone has a right to be present at Municipal Planning Commission meetings. Any attendees that are considered disruptive to the progression of this meeting may be removed at the discretion of the chair as per Municipal Government Act Section 198. We thank you for your cooperation and understanding. Members Larson and Link are joining us via phone, which means that we will be voting by exception, which means I'll ask if anybody's opposed. If there's any opposition, then I will call a vote. We have an agenda in front of us. Are there any additions or deletions?
I'll move the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Member Kester. Any opposition? Hearing none, that is moved. Adoption of the May 12th minutes. MPC's wishes.
I'll move the March 12th minutes as presented.
Thank you, Member Laprise. Anyone opposed? Seeing and hearing none, that is passed. We will now move on to development permit applications, DP 2024-010.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Suzanne Hayes, Development Officer with Wheatland County. I will be presenting one development permit application this morning, beginning on page 9 of the agenda package. It is DP 2024-010 for a heavy industrial facility, a wallboard manufacturing plant. Location plan is on page 28 of the agenda package. It is located approximately 2.4 kilometers west of Carsland, 0.8 kilometers east of Highway 24 on the south side of Township Road 222. On page 29, you will see the circulation map. We circulated to residents within 1 mile. We did receive 3 responses with concerns. They are on pages 41 to 45 of the agenda package. After receiving the landowner responses, the applicant contacted each of the respondents to discuss any additional mitigation strategies that would help alleviate their concerns, and an amended landscape plan was provided, which I will outline later in this report. We circulated to agencies. The full responses are in the agenda package on page 23 beginning, but I will just summarize the responses. For Alberta Environment and Protected Areas, there was no response to the development permit circulation, but during the redesignation, they commented on the presence of the wetlands and that potential impacts must be avoided or protected. The applicant is aware of these concerns and is addressing them in accordance with the AEPA requirements. Alberta Health Services said overall they have no concerns with this application. If any evidence of nuisance conditions is noted during any phase of the development, they wish to be notified. This includes water contamination, as there is an operating well within the development site, or any noise or air quality concerns from neighboring properties. Alberta Transportation and Economic Corridors said Highway 24 is a recommended improvements Highway 24 recommended improvements identified in the TIA should be constructed prior to opening day of the facility at no cost to AT. A development application for the highway improvements should be submitted to AT, and the application for the highway intersection improvements should include the following detailed engineered plans: an asphalt pavement report, subgrade and gravel base course details, and any other applicable plans not mentioned. CP Rail had no response. Fortis had no response. Rocky View County, the project is outside of the IDP area, and there were no concerns raised during the redesignation, so they were not circulated for the development permit. The comments provided during the redesignation were included in the development permit report. During our internal circulation, we did get comments from the manager of operations, who said that it is recommended by the Transportation Department that all Highway 24 and Township Road 222 intersection improvements be completed as noted within the TIA and the AT permit. Though the anticipated post-development traffic volumes fall slightly below the threshold for paving, it is recommended that paving of Township Road 222 from Highway 24 to the furthest east development access be completed, following reconstruction of the roadway by the county. It is anticipated that the maintenance demands of the roadway, if it were to remain gravel, would be greater than could be provided through the county's existing service levels. Post-development traffic volumes are also anticipated to generate significant volumes of dust, which may impact existing residences along the roadway. Paving of the roadway would negate this issue and remove the need for significant dust control measures that would otherwise be required if the road were to remain gravel. It is also recommended that an acquisition agreement and easement for construction agreement be entered into with the applicant for the future development of Range Road 262 along the east side of the Northeast 10, and a 5-meter widening already exists along the east side of the Southeast 10, 2226. Therefore, no agreements would be required for that parcel. These items have been added as development permit conditions. The county's community service coordinator said the proposed landscape plan appears satisfactory, and he did also review the revised plan which was submitted and agree that the screening has been improved over the previous submission and have no further comments. Economic Development says this is an excellent fit with economic development goals. The Agriculture and Environment Department said that the area was previously designated under the category of Ag General. Consequently, there is a loss of 214.33 acres of pristine farmland classified as 84%, signifying a high quality mean of fertile farmland. Additionally, the area features several temporary marshes as indicated in the wheatland map. On page 30, we have the site plan. A little description of the proposal. The application proposes the development of a 220,000 square foot wallboard manufacturing plant, including an associated raw product processing mill and an enclosed storage facility for manufactured wallboard products. The facility will encompass approximately 214 acres of land, currently on 2 parcels. However, the applicant landowner is in the process of consolidating the 2 parcels through land titles. Environmentally sustainable practices will be incorporated, including advanced environmental control systems to minimize emissions and a solar array for power supply. A separate application will be submitted for the solar array in early 2025. The plant anticipates employing approximately 100 permanent staff members working in 3 shifts. The facility will operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week throughout the year. Customers will not interact directly with the manufacturing facility, so regular client-customer visits to the plant are not expected on a daily or weekly basis. Excuse me. Some details about the traffic. Actually, yes, I will go through the variance requests and requirements during the policy review section of the report. For now, I'm going to move on to the traffic. So a traffic impact assessment was submitted, which was reviewed by McElhaney Engineering, Alberta Transportation, and the county. It identified the largest traffic contributor to be employee traffic arriving and departing from their work shifts. Additionally, truck traffic is expected to be relatively steady throughout the day, approximately 5 trucks per hour. On page 38, the diagram just shows the upgrades in a high-level way that will be required. The TIA recommended that improvements be constructed at the intersection of Highway 24 and Township Road 222. And as I mentioned, although the TIA stated that the estimated traffic volume did not trigger the requirement to pave Township Road 222, the County Transportation Department noted that the TIA did not take the current standard of the road into consideration and did recommend the road be paved from Highway 24 to the furthest east development access. There is a map to our site plan on page 30. There is an active CP rail line that runs from east to west immediately south of the development site. A direct rail connection, or a spur line, is being proposed for the site to transport materials and finished products. Inbound rail cars will deliver raw commodities and a small amount of other products such as paper produced at other locations. A small number of rail cars will carry finished product across Western Canada. The rail loop has been designed to maximize efficiency by reducing switching operations and reduced unloading times to minimize noise and vibration. It is anticipated that one bulk train, up to 120 cars containing raw gypsum material, will be delivered approximately every 2 weeks, which will be unloaded into the gypsum hopper. There will be additional trains accessing the site to pick up and drop off rail cars containing finished product, with the frequency of this service to be determined by CP. Regarding water servicing, the facility will be serviced with raw water by means of underground municipal raw water servicing infrastructure. The raw water distribution system will service the subject lands as well as other lands within the Goldfinch ASP. CGC will implement an on-site potable water treatment plant and proposes to provide on-site water storage for firefighting purposes using heated and insulated underground storage tanks. A development permit condition has been included for submission of an emergency response plan, which will provide additional detail to the fire suppression system. Wastewater servicing, wastewater disposal is proposed by means of a conventional septic chamber system and treatment field to treat domestic wastewater from toilets, sinks, and showers in the office. The basis for the septic field design was the maximum daily population, which is estimated to be 119 people. Wastewater generated during the manufacturing process will be captured and reused in the manufacturing process. Stormwater management. A stormwater management system is designed to accommodate the 100-year storm event runoff, and it will be conveyed to the stormwater pond where it will be stored. The pond will permanently maintain a certain level of water, but after a rainfall event, the excess water will be discharged to vegetation on site. It will be monitored, sampled, and analyzed to ensure that it meets applicable requirements before being discharged to landscaped and vegetated areas to allow for recharging of the shallow groundwater aquifer. The landscaping and mitigation plan. A plan was submitted in support of the application, which includes extensive tree planting and berming. The plan was developed in alignment with the mitigation strategy outlined in the area concept plan and complies with the county landscaping and screening guidelines. Further details regarding the mitigation strategy are found in the policy analysis section of this report. and attached drawings. A construction management plan was submitted in support of the application. On-site stripping and grading would proceed upon the effective date of the development permit. Further construction activities will commence once the applicable agreements have been executed. The plan included strategies related to mitigating potential impacts related to dust control, turning off equipment when not in use, vehicle maintenance, containing runoff, covering trucks leaving the site, and regular site cleanup and washing truck wheels prior to leaving the site. A condition has been added to address construction hours in accordance with the county noise bylaw. Policy analysis section. The proposal generally aligns with the relevant policy documents, including the MDP, as it operates on a local, regional, national, and international scale. It provides economic diversification and job creation. It embraces the opportunity presented by the regional transportation network and other modes of transportation, such as rail. The parcels are located within the Goldfinch Industrial Area Structure Plan. An area structure plan is a long-term policy document that establishes a vision for development within the plan area and provides guiding principles and policies that work towards achieving that vision over time. The ASP states that it may be amended in response to changes in the overall policy direction within Wheatland County or specific planning applications. On June 20th, 2023, Council approved amendments to the ASP related to 3 aspects. The Figure 7 development concept was amended as the manufacturing facility is considered to be an intensive industrial development and is proposed for a location which had been identified as appropriate for light industrial uses. A revision to Figure 8, illustrating the transportation network, was approved as the diagram identified a conceptual local road between Range Road 262 and Highway 24, which passed through the subject lands, and to append the CGC area concept plan to the Goldfinch area structure plan. These amendments were processed in conjunction with a redesignation of the lands from Ag General to Intensive Industrial District. Section 5.7 of the area structure plan addresses various overlay areas and includes specific policies for any development located within one of the identified areas. They stipulate that a mitigation plan be included at the area concept plan stage to address potential offsite impacts. The subject lands border the highway corridor overlay area. A mitigation plan was submitted which included a general strategy to minimize the visual impact for Highway 24, local roads, or other off-site locations. The proposed manufacturing facility also falls within the country residential overlay area. The applicant included a mitigation plan with the area concept plan to meet the ASP requirements. The plan included the provision of landscaped buffers and berms to lessen impacts with existing country residential development. The country residential overlay area, policy 5.7.b, includes policies regarding mitigating measures such as landscaping, berming, fencing, and building orientation. It also states that no development other than landscaping or berming shall occur within 100 meters of the property line of an existing country residential parcel. During the June 20th, 2023 meeting, Council acknowledged the location of the proposed facility in relation to existing country residential development and the potential impacts which may include noise and negative views. Council was presented with details of the mitigation strategy and demonstrated acceptance of the plan by adopting and appending the area concept plan to the Goldfinch area structure plan on June 20th. The strategy included 3 types of screening based on the location and function of the screening. So on pages 34 and 35 of the agenda package, we can see the mitigation plan. And just a brief description, there was 3 types of mitigation proposed. Type 1 is full screening to provide complete visual barrier and maximize noise mitigation for residential properties. Dense planting beds to provide a higher level of screening from Township Road 222. Type 2 included partial screening and moderate noise mitigation between lower priority viewpoints. Combination of coniferous and deciduous trees with a grouping of shrubs. Type 3 was buffer screening for low-level screening or landscape softening, a mix of deciduous and coniferous trees, shrubs, and perennials. The landscaping plan was developed in alignment with the mitigation strategy. The original landscaping plan is found on pages 36 and 37. Following discussions with the neighboring residents who had raised concerns after receiving the circulation notice, amendments were made to the landscaping plan. MPC has received a copy of these amendments. However, I will outline the changes for you. So I'm going to bring up a side-by-side comparison of the 2 plans, the original one on this side and the revised one on this side. And I'm just going to read a description of the changes. Did MPC want me to read the entire email that came from the applicant or just review the changes?
I believe we got it in time, so if you just review the changes, that'll be
Okay.
fine for everybody.
Okay. So one of the landowners, after meeting with CGC, CGC has said that this landowner considered that the tree height atop some of the landscape berms at time of initial planting would not break up the bulk of the processing plant when viewed from his house to a level he's satisfied with. So the amendment was CGC will replace 50% of the proposed 3-foot trees with 6-foot trees for a linear length of 50 meters along the northern boundary starting in the northeast corner. So this area right here, they're going to increase the tree height at planting. The applicant notes that with this amendment combined with the 6-foot high berm will provide a screening height of 12 feet at planting. Together with the proposed irrigation system, this amendment will help ensure that trees quickly establish and gain further height quickly. One of the other respondents they met with they expressed a desire to continue to have a view corridor into the site, and they would prefer to see less of the rail cars when they are present on the rail loop. They are concerned with the proximity of the rail loop to their property boundary. So the amendments included relocation of the berm and trees that run parallel to the western lot boundary of this parcel with the rail loop, to run parallel with the rail loop. So this will, and also remove the kidney-shaped berm and trees in the northeastern corner of the site. So they are talking about, rather than this configuration of the berm and this kidney-shaped portion, the berm is now going to further extend directly adjacent to the rail loop, and that kidney-shaped portion has been removed. Also, they will replace the existing 3-foot trees with 6-foot trees on top of the berm that runs parallel to the rail loop for a linear length of 250 meters, starting from the western end of the berm. And approximately 10 of these 6-foot trees will be replaced with 8-foot trees at the narrowest point of the berm, so right in this area here, where it's closest to the property line. The species in this location will also grow to be the tallest of the proposed species, approximately 20 meters in height. The applicant notes that this amendment combined with 6-foot berm will provide a screening height of 12 to 14 feet at planting. The applicant notes that together with the proposed irrigation system, this amendment will help ensure the trees quickly establish and gain further height quickly, providing a solid wall of trees and berm between this property boundary and the rail loop. Another landowner was concerned that the berm along the eastern boundary of CGC's site does not extend down to meet the rail loop, down to the rail loop. Amendments to the plan were that the applicant will extend the berm and trees that atop it along the eastern boundary of the site to meet the rail loop. So here you can see it's shorter on the original plan, and on the revised plan you can see it's a longer portion. CGC will ensure that 50% of the trees along Range Road 262 will be 6 feet in height. And they note that this amendment will provide further screening of the site when viewed from this landowner's property. Together with the proposed irrigation system, this amendment will help ensure that trees quickly establish and gain further height quickly. I'm going to go back to our drawing on page 30. Regarding variances, there are several variances required to accommodate the infrastructure and facility on this site. One of the variances is to the stormwater pond setbacks, as it is positioned in a location which straddles the property line between the northeast and southeast 10. So a variance to the setback to the property line has been proposed. The applicant intends to consolidate the two parcels to create one large parcel. This will be completed directly through the land titles office. And once the new parcel boundaries are registered, this variance would be moot. So here is the property line, the quarter line, and this is the storm pond. So you can see that the property line runs through it. The railway spur setback relaxations. The rear property line is shared by CP Rail, and the spur line needs to cross over the property line to connect with the CP Rail main line. The land use bylaw requires a 3.05 meter setback from development to a property line, not adjacent to a road allowance. But due to the rail spur line connecting to the CP Rail line, it must cross the property line shared by CP Rail to the south, and this requires a variance allowing a 0 meter setback to the property line on the south. A variance allowing a 0 meter setback to the property line between the two quarters is required to allow the rail spur line to cross over between the two parcels. Again, once the two parcels are consolidated, this variance would no longer be required. Variances are required to accommodate the rail spur line along the eastern boundary of the right-of-way of a road, which runs along the east property boundary bordering the undeveloped right-of-way for Range Road 262. So the rail spur line will be located 13.78 meters from the east property line on the northeast quarter, and it will be located 8.74 meters from the east property line on the southeast quarter. The County Transportation Department does not have any concerns with the placement of the rail line in proximity to Range Road 262 right-of-way. They have recommended that the landowner applicant enter into appropriate agreements to address potential road construction of Range Road 262. They have noted that it would not be necessary to obtain lands where the acreage is located along the right-of-way, nor the southeast portion, as the land had previously been taken to accommodate a potential future road widening. So yeah, you can see there's a little jog here where they've already taken the road widening on the south quarter. Parking and loading. This map illustrates the parking and loading plan, which the applicant submitted The parking and loading requirements in the land use bylaw stipulate there should be one parking space for every 1,000 square feet of gross floor area for an industrial, manufacturing, or processing facility, which would mean a total of 220 parking spaces. The applicant submitted a parking assessment which proposed 114 stalls. So you can see here there's 108 here. There's visitor parking of 4 and then wheelchair accessible parking of 2 for a total of 114 stalls. McElhaney reviewed the assessment and has no concerns with the proposed reduction of the parking requirements from 220 to 114 based on the rationale provided. The rationale was that the assessment considered the start and end times of employees who will be working in 3 shifts and prepared for the maximum overlap in parking demand. Land use bylaw section 4.3 grants the development authority the option to approve a development permit even though the development does not comply with the land use bylaw if those variances would not unduly interfere with the amenities of the neighborhood, materially interfere with or affect the use, enjoyment, or value of neighboring parcels, or the proposed development conforms with a similar use prescribed for that land. Staff is satisfied that the variance requests meet the criteria outlined in section 4.3 of the land use bylaw. Staff's recommendation is found on page 114 of the agenda package. Staff are recommending that MPC approve DP 2024-010 for a heavy industrial business subject to the conditions as noted, which include variances have been granted allowing A through F on condition 2, specific construction hours, entering into various types of agreements, including a development agreement with the provision of securities. And staff are recommending some amendments to the conditions, which I will outline for you after further considering. Oh, where are we here? There we go. So I'm going to show you the tracked changes so you can see the changes, and then I'll show you what it looks like once we've accepted them. So first of all, this I had put as an intensive industrial business, but that's actually the zoning. It should have said a heavy industrial business to comply with the uses in the intensive industrial district. So I just tweaked that. And then we have condition 12, which is the condition about the development agreement and the items which would be included in the development agreement. And we had originally said that the paving of Township Road 222 would be the requirement of the applicant and that securities would be required. However, upon further consideration, we have decided that since we will be reconstructing that road, we will go ahead and undertake the paving, but put the costs into our agreement, which is the subject of condition 13, which is the cost contribution agreement. So we've just moved that over to here, where it says the developer's proportionate share of the cost of the raw water supply pipeline and the full cost of paving Township Road 222 from Highway 24 to the furthest east road approach to the development. So we've just moved it in the conditions. So if we just look at the no markup, so now we can see it with the changes. I will just finish up my report. So the standard 3 options for MPC to consider are on page 26. And that concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Suzanne. I have to make a housekeeping detail. I need to make an attendance roll call because I know who's online, but no one else does. So I will make I'll ask for a roll call for attendance. Member Larson,
Here.
Member Link,
Good morning.
Member Kester, Member Clausen,
I'm here.
Member Laprise,
Here.
Member Bigger,
Here.
and Member Eichert is here. So thank you. That takes care of that. So what are MPC's wishes?
I have a question.
Yes, Member Bigger.
So if they're moving the county do the paving, it had said earlier that the reconstruction would be before construction. So would they be paving it right after? Would be paving it before construction or after we?
I'm going to ask Brad to answer that question, please,
Do you want me to?
or Sherry.
Okay. Through the chair to the commission, at the time when we do the drawings and set up for the reconstruction for the base for the entire Township Road 222, we will time it also with the paving portion as well as any work that may occur and coordinate with the highway improvements at Highway 24 and 222. So yes, we will time it. It'll all go in its sequence of road base and then the paving.
And so that will, because it says that would happen before construction
For on-site,
for the facility.
they can, the facility, it has to be completed prior to operation of the facility, but they will be allowed to do on-site construction and as well as stripping and grading. So it won't interfere with on-site works from CGC.
Okay. So and then I do have a question on not a question, more or less, maybe what we could change is to mitigate some of the noise and for the residents, if they could berm the areas around the residents at the grading and scraping. I know it's not, it wouldn't be practical to put trees on there, but if they could actually construct the berms around all three residents that they surround for noise and unsightly. I mean, the berms have to be up there anyway if they could do it before construction or at the scraping and grading.
So you would like this added as a condition that
Yeah.
prior to commencing stripping and grading
Well,
and?
first to make sure that it is viable, that it can be done, and then to add it in as a condition. It would just mitigate some noise and unsightly. And only in the areas that would pertain to the residents.
Through the chair to the commission, I just want to clarify, because the property that's within the quarter section already has berming around it with the extent that they don't want where it interferes with their view to the west.
Right.
So
That
then
berming is there already?
Yes, and then the other property that's across the street from
Yeah.
the Range Road, the berming goes down from that property to the spur line, but so that would be part of the sound attenuation for that property, and the other property is in the northeast corner of that intersection, and they're a little further away, and I don't know if berming would add anything other than what's being bermed along the rail spur line as it is. Because some of the sounds, and I think this would be a question we can clarify with the applicant, wouldn't necessarily be from the spur line as it's not a daily use, but from the actual CP rail line that would not be part of what's coming in and out of the facility.
So it says there on the east side, CGC will extend the berm and trees that atop along the eastern boundary of the site to meet the rail loop.
Yes, I will bring that up. Can I just clarify, Member Bigger, are you talking about during construction to get the berming done before construction starts?
Yes.
Yeah.
I apologize, I misunderstood what you're requesting.
So just
So you want,
just the berming
completed prior.
prior, when they're doing the grading and scraping. I don't know if that's doable or,
That may be something we'd have to confer with the.
Yes, for the applicant, because I don't know how the timing and how they're stripping and grading and the construction works for that.
They did mention that possibility to me at one time, that they were thinking of it, but they were still trying to determine if it was viable, if they could do it or not. So I would have to, if we took a recess, we could talk to them, but.
yeah, okay. And then, so then the other one was just to make sure, and I'm sure that they're trying to be good neighbors, is to make sure that the dust control, until that is paved, if there's not construction on that road, that the dust control be used at their cost. I didn't see that in the conditions.
So you're talking again about construction?
Yeah.
So yes, in the construction management plan, they mentioned they would put water on the site, and I believe, I don't know about on the roadway, because I'm not sure how the road construction fits in with that, but yes, they are planning to use water to put on the site.
That's good. And what about the road? Like there'll be a time in between construction and highway, and there's going to
Okay.
be some time there. That
Okay.
dust control be used in those interim times.
Okay, I'm gonna confer with the applicant on that to make sure. Oh, Brad, yes.
Yeah, and through the chair, when the work is completed, there will be an access and work agreement completed with the county, and so we can put some dust control requirements in there. The county is performing the reconstruction of that road, and so the county will be mindful of that in our contracts with the contractor when the road is being constructed. But prior to reconstruction of the road, we'll have to be mindful of the dust control as well.
Yeah. I'm always suggesting these to help the residents a little bit more with their, something's this big coming into their area. Thank you.
Okay.
So just the berms then.
Okay.
MPC's wishes.
Are we waiting?
Well, that can be part of the discussion. We're not supposed to have discussion until I have a motion.
Well, I'll move that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2024-01010 for an intensive industrial business subject to the following conditions. If they may be amended, though, I don't know.
I believe they can be amended after discussion. So I will, so we've got a motion in front of us. I will ask everybody how they're going to vote. Member Larson?
In
Point of
favor,
order.
I think.
That was in favor?
Point of order. if
So
we're-
yes,
Member.
Yes, Member Link.
If we're contemplating amending the conditions, I think we should probably debate an amendment. And I did hear administration indicate that it might be prudent for them to take some time just to look at the proposed condition that Member Bigger was discussing around berming. I don't know if Member Bigger still wants that explored further, or if you're satisfied with it as it's written in the current conditions. And just also, yeah, sorry, that's good.
So for the chair, perhaps we could just maybe have a 5-minute recess or 2-minute.
can we get this? Okay, we'll take a 5-minute recess and we'll be back at 10 to 10. I'll call this meeting back to order. Were we able to get a answer on the berming?
Yes, we did confer with the applicant, and it is their intention to, when they do the stripping and grading, which will be the first activity on the land, they are going to use that material to create the berms, and they will do that right away. And so does Councillor Bigger, does that satisfy you without a condition?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, then I will, so we are voting, on with the current conditions that are being the revised conditions. So I will call a roll call vote. see if everybody's in favor. Member Larson? So what I will do.
In favor.
Oh, thank you. Member Link?
In favor.
Member Kester?
In favor.
Member Clausen?
In favor.
Member Laprise?
I'm in favor.
Member Bigger?
In favor?
And Member Eichert is in favor. So that is passed. So I guess that's all the development permits. We'll move on to subdivisions. Thank you very much for all the individuals from CGC that were here.
I'm going to take just a minute. I'm just going to say thank you.
Okay, Ken, I'm just going to take Taylor, before you start your presentation, we'll just take a 2-minute break here just to thank the people in the gallery. Back to order. We are on subdivision applications, SD 2023-024. Take it away, Taylor.
Good morning, MPC. Taylor Feltz with the county's Planning and Development Services team, here to present subdivision application SD 2023-024. Referring to page 52 of the agenda package here, you can locate the subject lands 5.5 kilometers northeast of the town of Strathmore, 1.6 kilometers north of the intersection of Township Road 250 and Range Road 244 on the east side of Range Road 244. The application proposes to create a 5.08 acre parcel with 132.36 acre remainder within Northwest 4, 2524 west of the 4th Meridian. Both the proposed and remainder parcel will remain in the Agricultural General District, which is an appropriate designation as per the county's land use bylaw. The proposed Lot 1 is not developed, though future plans consider the construction of a dwelling serviced by on-site private water and wastewater infrastructure. The applicant has provided studies that support on-site servicing. However, the county's third-party engineers have noted that careful consideration should be taken into account when siting a future water well in relation to the existing water well located on the neighboring parcel to the north. It's just over the property line here, near this structure on the north side of the parcel line. The county's engineers have recommended locating the future water well as far south on Lot 1 as possible to reduce the risk of mutual well interference with the neighboring well. Lot 1 appears to have adequate space to accommodate an on-site soil-based wastewater treatment system with secondary treated effluent. This would include a treatment field with secondary treated effluent or sound mounds. Provided placement of the system is determined prior to the placement of a potential dwelling and driveways. Ember Resources has an access easement located immediately south of the proposed Lot 1, extending from the existing approach off Range Road 244 eastward to their well site. And access to Lot 1 is proposed via this existing approach. Administration has included a condition of approval requiring the applicant to provide and register an access right-of-way plan and easement on each title to ensure that Lot 1's access remains via Lot 2 in the future. The remainder Lot 2 is used for agricultural production and does not contain a dwelling, and therefore there's no servicing infrastructure in place at this time. Access to a portion of Lot 2 is available via 2 existing approaches to Range Road 244. We can see here on page 53, Range Road 244 was partially constructed outside of the dedicated road right-of-way and through a portion of the remainder Lot 2. And administration has included conditions that support the realignment of the road right-of-way in the future. The application was circulated to external stakeholders and neighbors, and no objections were received by the county. Generally, the proposal aligns with the provincial and county statutory plans, as well as the county's land use bylaw. Dedication of municipal reserves is not required for this proposal as it considers the first parcel to be subdivided from the quarter section. And with that, administration is recommending that MPC approve subdivision application SD 2023-024, subject to the conditions found on page 47 of the agenda package, which I have up on the screen here. And that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Taylor. MPC's wishes? Yes, Member Clausen.
Just a question I probably know the answer to, but the northwest corner of that quarter section, it's not labeled. Is all that, I would take it as WID land, I would think, right?
Through the chair, yes. We have a spillway that's running from the northwest corner to the central south portion of the quarter. It's all registered in WID's name.
And we rebuilt this road, I'm thinking about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And we took, I'm just surprised that we didn't catch that easement for the road then, because we did a construction project there and rebuilt it all. It could have been more than that since I've been on council. So I'm glad it's caught in here. So with that, I will move that the Municipal Planning Commission approve the subdivision application SD 2023-024 subject to the conditions 1 through 8 on pages 46 and 47 of the package.
Thank you, Member Clausen. I'll call the vote. Member Larson?
In favor.
Member Link?
In favor.
Member Kester?
In favor.
Member Clausen?
I'm in favor.
Member Laprise?
In favor.
Member Bigger?
In favor?
And Member Eichert is in favor. So that is passed. I think that takes us to the end of our MPC. I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you very much.